Finding yourself in the talons of an owl and the shadows of the forest moonlight. It's a gruesome affair.
I have this strange ability since birth. At first, I thought it was normal. I've believed that's how the eyes are supposed to work, but several weird stares from my friends and family taught me otherwise. I can see these glowing illuminations emanating from living people. I never really had a term for what I see, nor talk about it with anyone anymore. Living with this for the majority of my life, I have concluded they vary in color. The colors are like unreliable fingerprints. I was convinced that they are different for each one until I saw twins having the same glowing hue when I was 10. I also believe that only one is assigned per person. That has always been the case as I go about life as normal. That was until a girl named Irene transferred to our school this semester. She has too many. Her case piqued me. I carefully observed each part of her body as she introduced herself to the class. I trained my eyes all my life to distinguish every hue, labeling them according to their red, green, and blue hexadecimal values each time I encounter a color. I have gotten a lot of confused faces whenever I blurted out these weird codes to describe the colors of anything or sometimes a person. There was one time I accidentally called one of my teachers Miss number 1260 F9. I could see around 10 plus colors found in different parts of Irene's body. Number F6 7890 on her legs, number 398546 on some parts of her brunette hair, number 7D 4545 on her hips, and so forth. The amalgamation of colors presented in front of me amazed me. I couldn't help myself but be frozen in awe. A rainbow couldn't even compare. She was instructed to be seated beside me on the far back. I looked beside me to notice an empty seat was placed on my left. I wasn't even aware of its presence. As she walked towards our spot, she greeted me. "Hi there, my name's Irene. What's yours?" Irene said, snapping me out of my trance, head forward near mine, making me mumble before I could reply.
Ray,
I replied, avoiding eye contact.
"Hi Ray, nice to meet you. I guess you'll be having a loud seatmate from now on,"
she gushed. More colors revealed on the moment she showed her teeth. I couldn't believe my eyes in the development, making me stare for a few seconds before I could muster a reply. She gave me a quick grin before focusing on the starting lecture. I don't know why, but my heart skipped a beat on that gesture. I felt a sudden heat radiating from my cheeks, which made me look away. On that moment began one of the weirdest friendships I ever had. At first, it was totally one-sided. I only agreed in hanging out with her in the hopes I discovered more about my ability. I took it seriously to the point I took notes in our activities, in which she didn't mind, even made jokes about it. She refers to me as the color geek. We ate lunch together almost every day. She even had the chance to meet my parents as we do projects together at home. A month passed. Our relationship eventually turned to an unexpected closeness, to the point my day won't be complete without hearing her deafening trademark laughter. She always laughs out loud. I became a librarian whenever she does it in public. She's not the brightest out there, but she does know how to give you a good time. There were many times I wanted and even attempted to tell her my secret, but I retracted each time, excusing with a joke. I have this unexplainable worry not to lose her. A few days after, a disturbing news reached our class. The class muse, Patricia, was reported missing. She had been absent for 2 days now. Number FF80CB was her color, a vibrant pink. I'll admit, I did have a crush on her to the point I became obsessed, but who among the boys in our class didn't? Several jocks circled her all the time. I know I didn't stand a chance. Worry filled the room's atmosphere. A lot of whispers and mumbling can be heard in the vicinity until a teacher stood in front signaling the class to be quiet. I looked at my side only to notice Irene spaced out and somewhat pale, staring at what I assume at the empty seat of Patricia. I intended to talk to her since Patricia was her PE partner. "Hey, do you know if Patricia ran away?" I said with a low volume. She didn't react, so I proceeded to poke her. It wasn't as effective as I hoped since it took several pokes to get her attention. "Ray, quit it," she said, slapping off my finger, propelling it back at me. It hurt a little. She remained stern at her seat. I continued to playfully poke her, trying my best to dissipate her bad mood, disregarding her command. "Come on now. What's happening in the world of Irene? Why is she grumpy?" I teased while poking. "I said quit it," she hissed, now facing me with a frown. After a few seconds, she suddenly stood up, then proceeded to leave the room with gradual haste. "Irene, hey, what happened?" I shouted as she gets closer to the exit. She looked at me for a few seconds with her angered face before completely going outside. I decided to chase her, almost tumbling as I traversed the room full of armchairs. She ran on the hallways with a hint of whimpering as I squint to her far distance. I tried calling her name to catch her attention, to no avail. I started running after her, confused. She kept on sprinting until a preschooler suddenly appeared in front of her, making her tumble to the side, hitting a wall as she avoided her. The little girl fled in panic as she saw Irene's limp body lying on the floor. I could only assume she lost consciousness as she didn't recover. I hastened in panic. I managed to catch up because of that, panting and worried. Inspecting her body, a specific color made me flinch. A new and familiar pink hue revealed itself on the upper right of her abdomen, number FF80CB. Impossible. The matter at hand made me shrug my current thoughts. I shook my head to recover focus. I squatted to check on her. She might have a slight concussion that made her faint, but I don't see any blood oozing anywhere, which is a good sign. Signs of breathing calmed me down. My eyes caught something in my inspection that made me tilt my head. Looking closer, I noticed a peculiar thing near her face. It looked like a patch of skin becoming loose. White, sticky, viscous substance filled the loose part underneath as I inspected it further. Something in me made me reach out to it. It seemed peelable. I pinched it with precision and slowly pulled down, giving into it the pull of curiosity. I stopped midway as several stitches underneath were revealed. The stitches held diverse skins of different tones. The stitches looked wet, thick, and dark red. Different colored glows blinded my eyes, sourced from the revelation. Colors I haven't seen from her before. I stood up in shock. Irene groaned as she began gaining consciousness. Rage and confusion flowed through my veins as I noticed her wake. "What did you do to Patricia?" I shouted. The question just came out of my mouth, not having a rational thought on why. My mind jumped to conclusions. Irene just laid there with eyes focused on mine. Tears began dripping from her eyes. I'm sorry. I was gonna die. I had a few months left. I needed a replacement," Irene said as she started whimpering, wiping her eyes with her left arm. Given the excuse, my eyes, in instinct, stared at the source of Patricia's hue. I didn't have words as I tried to make sense of what she just said. Father said she was a perfect match, the only match. We've been searching for months,"
I was running out of time. I had no choice, Irene continued explaining. My confusion on the matter worsened. What do you mean? What are you? I screamed, pressing my left feet hard against the ground, clenching my fists until a sharp pain enveloped my mind. I stood frozen in front of her, mixed feelings clouding my mind, sharp pins pricking my heart. In my trance, Irene recovered and pushed me to the side with enough force to make me land on my back. I didn't bother to recover. I felt defeated. You wouldn't understand, Irene hissed, looking down on me. She made a face I never knew she could make, driven and sinister. She pushed the peeled skin back, making it stick once more, fixing her face, but not as perfect. She continued to flee soon after. I remained as I was, staring in awe as the colors that she carried created flawless art in front of me. Tears began dripping as her figure gets further away. That was the last time I saw her. My heart aches every time I remember her. Smoking Owl here. I really enjoy these horrible stories and hope that you do too. If so, please rip at the like button and scratch a comment. And best of all, help me on the path to 100 subscribers by subscribing now. And catch you on another night very soon.